Hey guys, welcome back to Carib 21, wherever in the Caribbean or in the diaspora you're watching from. So today's story is coming out of Kingston, Jamaica. So the Foreign Affairs Minister of Jamaica, Kamina Johnson-Smith, in an article in the Jamaican Observer over the weekend, she set out to clarify some rumors or what they would call today misinformation that was being circulated in the media last week about over 4,000 Jamaicans being deported. So that is the story today, and let's talk about it. Okay, so last week we saw some news being circulated online from Jamaican print media and from Caribbean media about 4,000 Jamaicans scheduled to be deported to Jamaica. And the Foreign Affairs Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, came out on the weekend in an article uploaded by the Jamaica Observer to clarify what is really going on. So if you have not seen this report, this is what she had to say via the Jamaica Observer.
Kingston, Jamaica, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says that approximately 2,500 Jamaicans have been confirmed for deportation from the United States. Johnson-Smith provided the update while speaking at a press conference on Thursday at the office of the Prime Minister. The figure was given as she moved to dismiss reports that some 4,000 Jamaicans are set to return to the island as part of President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown. We recognize that yesterday there was a headline in a particular publication which generated significant public interest, stating that 4,000 Jamaicans were to be returned. Allow me to be clear that 4,000 Jamaicans are not being returned now. For some time, it has been in the public domain that the U.S. authorities had close to 4,000 persons in their records with final orders for deportation against their names. It is now our understanding that approximately 2,500 have been confirmed for removal over a period of time, to be determined by logistics, their own legal processes, and other factors, the minister noted. It is not a new phenomenon. For decades, Jamaica has facilitated the repatriation of its citizens under established international arrangements. We receive our citizens when they are returned to us, just as we expect, and we do, repatriate foreign nationals who commit serious crimes or breaches of our immigration laws. We respect the rights of other countries to do so. As immigration policies continue to evolve globally, the government remains committed to honoring our international obligations while safeguarding national security and public safety, she said.
Okay, so that was the article from the Jamaica Observer of the Foreign Affairs Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, coming out to clarify. So what are my thoughts on this? I think that, look, this is standard procedure. We have seen the Foreign Affairs Minister done this, like this is about the fourth time since 2025 that we have seen her come out. And I think what happened because of this with the Trump administration, I think the media is tempted to just come out and sensationalize these type of news to make it seem like historic or breaking news. But the reality is, as pointed out by the Foreign Affairs Minister correctly, this is standard procedure. And in some sense, people would argue that the numbers are down because I've said this many times under the Obama administration, like way more people were deported than any other administration in the history of America politics. And a lot of Jamaicans were deported during that 8 years also. And this whole deportee thing to Jamaica is not new. This is something that from I was a child, like this was happening until like we even had sung about it. Like Buju Banton had this big song about deportee, and that song was probably about 30 years ago when Buju Banton did the song Deportee. So this is not anything new. This is standard procedure. So Jamaica receive deportees all the time because a lot of Jamaicans go and decide to just stay and not come back. But one of the things is that we have to consider in 2025, is it still a good idea to run off in America? Is it still a good idea to be in America illegally? Because this is something that people across the world, not just the Caribbean, across the world, Europe, Africa, Caribbean, Latin America, across the world, because sometimes when we have this conversation, people like to make it seem like this is a conversation that only takes place because of like African countries, Caribbean countries, and Mexico. But even people from Canada, people from European countries, they would go to America and they would run off or they would get married to get their citizenship. So in 2025, is this still a good idea to run off in America? Is this still a good idea to be illegal in America? So my answer to that would be no. I don't think it's a good idea in 2025 to be running off in America, in Europe, in Canada, anywhere in the world, as a matter of fact. And I can understand why people would have done it like 20, 25 years ago, because it was much easier. People could go to America, they could overstay, they could go get like a job, like a under the table job, a cash job, they call it in America, in Europe also, a cash job, and they could rent a basement apartment or stay with a friend, and they could work money, enough money, and some people get married and stay and all of that. But I think what I'm seeing in 2025 is that America, Europe, North America overall, Canada, America, and Europe is catching up to a lot of countries in terms of like, these countries are becoming like third world in front of our eyes. Back in the days, we did not see people struggle to pay rent in America the way we see people are struggling now. We did not see people struggle to pay rent in Canada the way we see people struggle now. And if you come from the Caribbean, one thing with the Caribbean is that there's enough land, you can just pitch up a wooden cabin somewhere and you can live. We don't see a lot of homeless people in the Caribbean unless it's some mental health problem or some drug addiction and they're on the street and dirty. It's not the same like where we would see people in America, people in Canada, homeless, living in their cars, going to work and going home to a car. We don't see that in the Caribbean. So 2025, I don't think it's a good thing to run off anywhere. Canada, America, the UK, because just rent alone, working under the table to try and pay rent, it is not worth it. And as I said, I would understand back in the days when people do it, and sometimes people would go for different reasons, whether they're living in a war-torn country and all of that. But the Caribbean right now is, in my opinion, the Caribbean is booming. The Caribbean is booming right now. I know like minimum wage in the Caribbean is like dirt. It's like nothing. But guess what? Minimum wage in Canada, minimum wage in America right now, it's dirt also. If you go to America and Canada and try to overstay and work a cash job, you can't pay rent with that type of money. So it just doesn't make sense in 2025. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think that in 2025 people from the Caribbean can still overstay in America, do a cash job, or get married that type of way and still survive in America? Or would you say people should just stay in the Caribbean and try and make things work? Sound off in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on this. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out.